our show, you know, and it just, I mean, whatever, you know, but
I get
it
you.
takes,
I get what you're saying.
and we got to make sure that everybody feels good. But yeah, anyway, thank you for forever.
You're welcome. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm good. I feel like I've spent all day on the phone, and now I'm trying to fix my hair for you. I've it's been good. I'm excited because it was like sort of my first day off because this week has been a lot of night shoots. I mean, our show is like, I guess I should have known because Gotham, you only see it at night, and then here I am being like, why am I shooting till 5 a.m. every day? Yeah, but I'm really excited, and I can't believe season 2 is ending. And
I know you're probably ready to get back home.
oh yeah, I haven't been home in a while and a bit, and my family's in Virginia. My mom's a doctor, so I just didn't get to see them over Christmas break because things were shaky, and then but I'm excited. My plan is to get vaccinated and then swing by Virginia and say hi to them.
So, what sparked your interest in playing Mary Hamilton?
What I always say is that Mary Hamilton gets to be a part of, like, Mary Hamilton Kane, like the iconic Kane family. She's connected to the Bruce Wayne family, being their cousin. And in the comics, she essentially becomes the Robin to Batwoman's Batman, and it's portrayed in the comics as this beautiful, striking blonde character. And I thought, like, amidst the red hair and the Alice in Wonderland, that sort of the good sister, the third sister in that triangle, to be cast as her and for her to look like me was a huge reason I took on the role, and a huge reason I have so much gratitude for Berlanti and Sarah Schechter and Caroline Breeze for reimagining that family as a true, American family, a true modern family. So that's what continues to be the most exciting thing about playing her.
Because we see this season that I feel like she's kind of taking in her own and kind of like helping the team, standing up to her dad with the whole clinic situation. What do you think is Mary's most powerful quality?
I think Mary's most powerful quality continues to be her heart, continues to be her empathy, continues to be in this dark city and this really chaotic place. Is that she always sees everything as a glass half full, even though her eyes are always full of tears because she's constantly crying, because she's always like, she can't believe, she's such an optimist to her end. But she is dialed in. She is someone in many ways I really aspire to be, because her almost self-confidence is really disarming. She like owns every part of her personality, from her speech to her all-knowingness about what's going on in Gotham, to her medical knowledge, to her care about her community, whether it's her community or not, and to the morals of the Bat Team. And what that means is, like, she holds it all, and she's sort of my superhero.
Because with the clinic, do you think that she'll be able to get back in the field helping people, or do you think like Jacob will eventually be supportive of the situation?
I think with or without the clinic, you'll never take away like the clinic from Mary, like, who is she without the clinic? So that's why I just like loved all of the reaction about being like, oh, you crossed the line with Mary. Like, oh. And I think that this storyline, especially with Mary and Jacob, is so important because it rises to a note where eventually she's like, you're gonna have to choose, you know, between chasing a ghost and caring about me, the one daughter who you have left. And I am tired, you know, Mary's tired of pretending to try and be more like Kate, or to try and be more like Beth, or to mend things with Alice in order to get her father's love. And I think, you know, what I can say is that there will be a breaking point, and Jacob will sort of have to make that ultimate decision.
Because one of the most relationships I admire out the show is Ryan and your marriage relationship. What's one thing you admire about their relationship so far? Because, you know, you see her kind of take her in as being the Batwoman, and then, you know, eventually moving in with each other. Like, what's a thing that you admire most about their relationship?
What I admire most about the Ryan-Mary relationship is just that we've seen it blossom from the beginning. And I think in TV, you rarely get to see that, like a real friendship start. And it's actually mirrored like our real life, because I met her over FaceTime when she was cast, and that was awesome. And then we've just spent and had each other and been sort of each other's family up here in Vancouver, away from our own. And it's made us just so close. And, you know, like, what else do we have? And lean on each other so much in such a really beautiful way. Looking back at this year and this season, and I'm just really proud of what we've created with the Mary and Ryan character. And we have tons of chemistry, and we're always like dying laughing. I'm like the team DJ. I always have my speaker. I'm always walking around, and yeah. And so I'm just really glad that we've got to bleed that into our work. It's much easier to play friends than enemies for us. So I love it. And I really adore their moments in the loft when they're hanging out and they're being roommates. I just, you know, like, or the makeover scene I really enjoyed, because like they have each other's back, and you love when your girl looks good and is kicking butt. And I do quite enjoy their relationship.
Because we see them kind of have the similar situation, not so similar, but with their moms, taking that sudden, death and everything. How do you feel that, will that play more out into the season for, with Allison, with, eventually Kate coming back and everything?
Yeah, definitely. I think that they've been bonded, and I think now everybody knows why. And I think there's a discomfort with Kate coming back and what that means, your genetic sister. And in many ways, like, Ryan is Mary's sister. And what I really love is that Mary was the only character that really took in Ryan with open arms. Everybody was really hesitant. And Mary's sort of arms are always open. She's always ready to jump right into being really close. And which is why she wears her heart on her sleeve, and I really love that about her. But yes, as Kate comes in, it almost is great, because I think that really complicates things for the Alice character more than it does for like the Mary Ryan history. What I'm really proud of is that Ryan and Mary, like, Mary had to save Ryan's life. Luke and Mary had to save her life from the kryptonite. After that, I kind of admire the writers, and I kind of admire Caroline for not being like, well, do you like me more than her? Well, because after a moment like that, like, you're bonded. And so I'm kind of happy to say that it's in our history, and our friendship maybe gets tested in this way with this new character coming in, but it certainly doesn't change. If anything, it strengthens.
Because will it change how you, when you first meet her, will it change how you feel? You know, because you're at first so like, oh my God, Kate's gonna come back on all this positivity, even with Luke. But will it affect Mary in a way, or make her a little distant with Kate, or even put a strain in her relationship with Jacob, even?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think in her relationship with Kate will just be like, first of all, we buried Kate. So I think some shock is taking place.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, it's her sister. She's been looking for her all year. She's just wanted her home. And that's what she's communicated. She's like, in episode 8, even though Kate isn't there, but she's like, I don't know. She is going to have your back because she's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And she is going to take you in. But the truth is, I don't know. But all I know is that she wasn't alive. And now she is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I can think about.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't think Mary has really thought beyond that. So having Kate back, it'll be like, yeah, this moment of elation and ecstasy, but then it will also be a moment of shock. And yeah, it's a ride to the end of the season.
Because Mary and Luke have such a real deep connection with each other. What it makes their bond so tight?
Uh,
Mary and Luke have like share a really significant and special friendship that we've seen that they really kind of lean on each other a bit more now this season. What makes their bond so tight now?
I know, like everybody, I love Hamill Fox and I love our fans, but what's really the dopest part of the Mary Luke connection is how deep their bond is and how much deeper their friendship is, and how they have clung to each other in grief and in triumph, and they've always had each other's backs. And I really appreciate the way that their relationship has grown. Yeah, the Mary and Luke relationship, like sometimes they feel like an old, like married couple and they just like bicker. And that's kind of some of my favorite scenes ever on the show because there's not a lot of light in Gotham. And I just think like the most ridiculous things can be happening. And Mary and Luke are like, did you turn off the light? Did you turn off did you remember to turn off the oven? Like,
Yes.
And and so we are always trying to break each other on camera, and you can just sometimes see like someone lips starts to curl and they start to laugh, and it's just so funny.
Are there any scenes with Luke coming up in the upcoming episodes that you're excited for fans to see?
Yeah, Luke has some big things coming, and Mary is there with him all the way. And she does what she does best, and she's just definitely his ride or die. So there are definitely scenes coming up with them. And also they experience Kate coming back together, like that's the person that they've been bonded through since the beginning. And so you get to see them experience that as well. And I'm really looking forward to like sort of Luke being out in the field and figuring some, things up and having to step up for the team too. And the development of his character and sort of having Mary's back. Mary is always being chased. She could always use somebody else to to help her out.
Yes. We see Mary and even a little bit of Sophie this season have a couple scenes. Are there scenes coming up, with even Kate coming back? Will they even share something or have a moment together?
Oh, yeah. I mean, like last year, Sophie and Mary's friendship stems again from Kate and stems from that. But Mary's nosy, and wants to see Sophie in a relationship, and she'll ship her with everyone, and doesn't care. And so there are some fun things with Sophie coming up, but mostly I just think Mary like really looks up to Sophie, and Sophie again is a straight shooter, is such a badass, and Mary comes traipsing through and is like, my friend, and Sophie is kind of similar to Luke in the way of just trying to handle her. But I think my favorite part is that Mary is always trying to push Sophie into getting information, into pushing her into relationships, into being nosy in her personal life, and Sophie delivers. And so that's really cool to see them actually start to work together beyond their friendship is a really great thing that I'm looking forward to, that we started this year, and I'm really looking forward to them doing it a little bit more even next year.
Yes. And since we were supposed to have a crossover this year, but because of the pandemic, are there any characters that you do want to cross over with eventually, even if we have a crossover next year?
Oh my God. Yeah. Like, I know Supergirl's ending, but like, I just really love them. I just think she and Lena would really get along. And then I also like the Flash. Be really cool. I love them. I just think her and Danielle's character would, I think she could learn a lot from her. Yeah, she actually is like my real life older sister. And so I just think Danielle is so like classy, and she's an icon, and I'm chaotic and a mess. So I feel like that would be really, really cool. But also I've been watching like Superman and Lois, and I think, like I love Bitsy, and I think that would be a really cool thing, just because it's shot similarly, but then like Gotham feels like the dark version. So either way, like I feel like a crossover between Batwoman and like Superman and Lois would be really dynamic and kind of like a great sort of Avengers moment. I don't know. That's just like my dream. Whatever. My answer is I want to cross over with everyone. So,
what has been your favorite moment, memorable moment from filming Batwoman this season so far?
Okay, so in Canada they have a different Thanksgiving than in the USA, and then for both we weren't really able to go home because the borders were closed and we only had that Thursday off, for example. And so the American cast, like our cast, like got together at my place, and we all cooked Thanksgiving dinner together. And I don't know that we would have been given a moment like that so far away from our families and just us, had this year not happened the way it happened in all of its sort of struggles. And my favorite thing is the ways in which we have stepped up to the plate, and there have been no distractions. Because usually the vibe is usually people are in and out, people are flying to LA, people are going to New York, people are doing other projects, and people's families come visit, and there's all of this like busy activity, and life is like busting, and everybody is doing incredible things. But I remember looking around, I've got this like long wooden table with two like just long benches, and everyone was like squeezed around the corner and had all these, it was like our makeshift Thanksgiving. And I don't know, we really bonded that day. So I know that's not the day we filmed, but that is my favorite thing about filming season 2. I'll never forget that about season 2.
How would you describe the importance of strong female representation, especially when it comes to being a series regular on a hit show like Batwoman?
You know I love strong female representation. I could talk all day about strong female representation.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, it is so exciting. It's so exciting, and it's so encouraging and thrilling to be on a show with this many strong women and strong intersectional women. I mean, man, like what a leap. And it definitely has its challenges, right? Because we have to integrate all of these complicated identities and complex stories into one show, which usually is, you know, in our past, we have a lot of catching people up to do about these different communities and the different interactions and what we mean. And there's a lot of care and there's a lot of work put in to telling a story in Gotham for it to remain similar and for you to see some iconic Gotham characters show up and honor the comic book while also seeing it through a different lens because we have different people telling the story. So in that sense, I love it. I have always felt really empowered by women. Also like Javicia, Megan, Rachel, they're all my older sisters. I'm sort of like the youngest of the bunch. But I just feel really lucky that I get to be brought along this ride with them, not only in acting, they're all incredible actors, but in their lives and in their activism. I've just really learned a lot from them. Also, our showrunner, Caroline, I find that I've been really lucky to like work with women who have pulled up a seat at the table for me. And I'm just in full gratitude crazy for that. I mean, I don't know, like I always can't stop saying like how lucky am I. And I joke because like I'm also like I'm the shortest, and everyone always like picks me up, and then they always put me in heels to like get me into frame with like glamazon like women that I'm acting and shaking my and it's always just the funnest day ever.
What would you like to see more when it comes to diversity in the entertainment industry?
Yeah, okay, I've spoken about this a lot actually, but diversity in this industry, you know, there's so many levels to this, right? And again, like, hang on, there's a siren. Okay. Yeah, okay, so I've spoken to it a lot, but I mentioned earlier, always remembering to pull up a chair at the table. Just make sure that when you, again, like, I mean, Miss Vice President, make sure that you're not the last one through that door. I think that's a huge deal. But specifically about this industry, I think it's important that we start getting diversity behind the camera, which is really exciting about Ava DuVernay's like array in that company. Just that our crews are diverse. Like, can we light faces that look like yours and mine? Can we infuse and empower people behind the camera? Directors of photography, directing, writing, and diversify those rooms and those spaces. And then beyond that, can we put diverse people in positions of power and huge decision making? I think in those networks and in the networks that we have grown up with, seen and loved their shows, and they become iconic, there is a ton of financial responsibility and huge buying power that you have. And if those people and the people that are making those decisions are diverse, then ultimately they're going to prioritize our stories. They're going to prioritize other marginalized groups of people and encourage that we make it a priority to include them in our shows and in our television. And then slowly, right, the engine starts moving and we just see more and more and more, and then it's normal. It's normalized. And I already feel that in my show in many ways.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's really cool to always feel like that I am on a show that feels like the future.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's sort of my take on diversity in the industry.
Because how do you stay positive with everything that's going on in the world right now?
That is the work of our ancestors, right? Like our moms, our aunts, our communities. I mean, they carry so much. It is so intergenerational.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, of course, the spirit can be heavy, and there is a lot of responsibility and burden and things that real things that we carry.
Mm-hmm.
So there's this amazing beauty about just like diverse people, women
Mm-hmm.
that I admire, but this other underbelly of it is because for some reason when they walk into the room or when I watch Ava, DuVernay speak or like whatever, I'm like, I don't know. She is channeling history, something else.
Mm-hmm.
The power and the confidence that she has, and she's saying I can do it, so okay. Or here we go.
Yes.
So I think that comes with our experience. It is our pain.
Mm-hmm.
And that is hand in hand. We are always this yin and yang, and we're moving through water. We're moving through a lot. So first of all, it's, put the life jacket on yourself. Make sure you're taking care of yourself before you're taking care of your work, before you're taking care of others, because ultimately you matter the most. Your relationship with your found family, your family, and your friends matter the most. To remember that, and the rest is like froth and like extra and a gift.
Mm-hmm.
And so then when we start talking about the work we're doing, like sometimes I just got to worry about like checking in and being okay before I do my job, when I had just gotten on autopilot and I'm like, okay, like what scenes am I doing today? What fun thing in Gotham do I get to play in? And sometimes in the world, especially in the last year, I need to gravitate towards sources that are energy giving and not energy sucking. So I guess that's been my greatest lesson this year,
Mm-hmm.
in wake of everything that's been happening
Mm-hmm.
in my own life. And I love social media because I think it's really given us our voice back, and it's given individual people their voices back. And I've used that to speak on, and I want to continue to have conversations within the Asian American community and beyond, and having these intersectional conversations, which I was speaking to you about, which is like what I am about.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very, very complicated, and it's delicate, but we can do it. Like everyone I have full faith.
Mm-hmm.
So on social media, I really feel like I get to, with this platform, be the activist that I want to be. And I'm learning. I'm not doing things perfectly, and I'm sure I will make mistakes in the future. But I believe that the privilege that I have with the platform is that I trip and fall on my face in front of everyone.
Yeah.
And then we get up and we try it again, because we know what we're moving towards is better than where we're at.
Mm-hmm. What is something you want to say to people that support you, that's been supporting you, that support the show?
Thank you. I'm like still not over it. I look at every tweet. I look at every meme. I am like giggling. I'm like tweeting along.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't believe that this is my life,
Mm-hmm.
and that they are the reason, and that they respond to me, because you put out this work and this feeling and this character, and you do all this work on it, and to have an audience that is loyal and that sees you literally say exactly what you were thinking on the inside is weird. It's like I feel like I have soulmates everywhere. and I encourage them to keep reaching out, and I just thank them for staying on the ride.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate this. Thank you.
I appreciate you. Thank you. This was so fun. It was so nice.
Yes. I hope you have a great weekend. A couple of days off. Go back right to work.
Yeah, exactly. Going for a walk and then coming back home, eating some.
I was like, you can watch Oscars this weekend if you watch. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm really excited for Minari. I just really love Yuri, and I'm just really excited for Steven Yeun and all of the success that movie has been. But there are so many great movies, and so this year, I don't know. It was a fun year to vote.
Yes. All right. Have a great week and evening. Bye. Bye. Thank you.
Where is the buzz?
Oh, yeah.
Where is the buzz? You said
We used to be
was
a
mine,
single.
oh, mine.
Where is the buzz?
Ooh.